Michaela Vernava for NESN.com here on Radio Row, and I am joined by Bleacher Report national columnist Mike Freeman. Mike, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
I want to start by asking you about Carolina Panthers quarterback Cam Newton. Now, for all the success he has had this season, and he has been impressive, there are so many detractors, so many haters. Why the negative perception over Cam Newton?
It's foolish. It makes no sense. He's actually a really grounded, professional guy who's transforming the position. He's 6'5", 240, 250, runs a 4.5. We've never seen a guy do this before. He does everything right because he dabs. That's why you don't like him? Really?
And he smiles too much.
And he smiles too much, and it's a fake smile apparently. So it's just silly. He is as a transformational figure as we're going to see, because there's very few quarterbacks that can do the combined things that he can do. So he's fantastic, and people who hate him, they're going to have a lot of years to hate him because he's going to be good for like 10 years. So you're going to be hating him for 10 years. So, yeah, it makes no sense.
If he keeps up performances like he did this season, you mentioned he will transform the position. What do you think the future of the quarterback position in the NFL will be if we see more players like Cam Newton?
Well, there's always going to be guys like Tom Brady who stand in the pocket and pick apart a defense. There's always going to be that kind of guy. Where what he is doing is he is as good from the pocket and almost as, not like Brady, like there's no one like Brady, but he's close and he can run and he's fast. So we've seen running quarterbacks before. Steve Young was probably the best to ever do it. He's in that area code. He's in that universe. So if you can get a guy who is 6'5", 250 and plays the position the way Steve Young did it, that's what I mean by transformational. It's just there's just no really accounting for everything he can do, and that's why they're 15-1 and why they've been so good.
What does Newton have to do to get even better than he is now?
I would say maybe even a little more accurate passing, but his passing is pretty good. But that's pretty much it. He reads defenses really well. He runs really well. He's patient, smart guy, studies hard. He does everything you want a franchise quarterback to do. If he threw just a little more accurate, that would be it. But even then, I mean, he still throws accurate enough. You see him pass. So that's about it. But that's really nitpicking at this point.
Right, his completion percentage earlier in the season really wasn't great, but it got gradually better throughout the season. And you have to account for the amount of drops, right? I mean, his receiving core wasn't exactly even close to the best in the league.
No, he does not have the best receiving core, and there were a lot of drops. But they're getting better. Devin Funchess is one of their younger guys who is going to be, I think, a pretty good receiver. And Olsen's very good. But overall, the thing you have to be encouraged about if you're a fan of that team is the front office is very good. The coaching staff is very good. They're going to keep putting pieces around him and keep doing things to make him shine. So this franchise could be really, really good for a long time to come.
And you mentioned Funchess, who they drafted this year. And then don't forget about a similar-bodied build receiver in Kelvin Benjamin. He'll be back next season, which will make a huge impact for Cam.
Yeah, they could be stacked. Now, we've seen this before where we say a team's going to be great and then they're not great. There's only one or two Patriots. You know, they don't grow on trees. So it's going to be hard, but they got a really good shot of winning this game and then from there going and just being dominant and keep being good and building on what they did.
Okay, you say there's no team quite like the Patriots. I want to ask you about what you think about the end of the Patriots season this year. They get off to a 10-0 start. Things start to go downhill. What was the reason for the decline, do you think?
I don't know. I think part of it is every team in the league really gives their best against them, plus 1,000%. They just really everyone wants to knock off the Patriots because they're the best. I think you also saw the injuries, as you know, sort of have their impact. And there's only so much a franchise, so much injury, so much depth of a team can be tested and pulled at and picked apart before you start suffering and before you start losing. I mean, you lose Gronk, you lose the offensive line the way they did, you lose all those guys, eventually it's going to catch up to you, even if you're as good as they are and as deep as they are. So that was a big part of it. But still, look at what happened. They don't play well against Denver, and they're that close to getting back here again. They're incredible. Coaching staff made some weird decisions all year, but still, they're great. And that quarterback, I mean, he's just, how many times are you going to say how good he is? So despite all the problems, they were still so close to getting back here. It's incredible.
And as you said, teams bring their A game against the Patriots. They are the team to beat, and they've had sustained success for a long time. Now, in contrast, you look at the Panthers, who haven't been as successful historically, but they come out this season, they lose only one game. And honestly, it seems like it took until this point that they're in the Super Bowl for people to believe in them. Why is that?
I think you have to, we're a sort of prove it to me league and prove it to me society. Part of it is going back to the Patriots, that level of dominance, it jades us almost. We look at the Patriots or a couple other organizations and we say they're so good, there's a standard is set so high. And so other organizations, we want to wait for them to prove it to us. So people have been waiting for the Panthers to fall and to prove it, and they haven't fallen, and they've kept proving it. So now if they win this game, I think now a lot of the people, the doubters, will be gone. And there's nothing else if they win this Super Bowl, there's nothing else you can say about them. Can't say they're not going to win. You can't say they're lucky. Can't say Cam stinks. Can't say he has a fake smile. No more. If they win, all that stuff's gone. So they got to win, and when they do, people will start buying it.
Well, when you talk about proving it, one individual player who has certainly proven it year and year after year is Peyton Manning, Denver Broncos quarterback. What will we remember most about Peyton's legacy?
Well, he was just very consistently good. We'll remember his battles with Brady. We'll remember he was a professional. All those things we'll remember. I hate kind of seeing him play now. He's broken down. He's not the same guy, but there's still an element of guts that he's displaying. He still has this. So we'll remember all those things about him.
Well, as you said, we will remember the Brady-Manning matchups, those wars of 1812. Now, do you think that he belongs in the discussion with Brady still?
Oh, hell no. No. Brady is the Brady-Manning discussion. Can I say hell? Sorry. The Brady-Manning discussion was over, I think, like 5 years ago. If you're really honest about it, Brady separated himself. To me, Brady's the best of all time. And I think he surpassed Montana. I think he surpassed Unitas. Whoever you want to name, he's passed them on out. And Manning is in the paragraph, but he's not in the sentence. So I would put Brady clearly at number one right now of all time, and Manning in the 5-6 range, something like that. But I think Brady is the number one.
Well, if the Denver defense is able to hold off the Carolina Panthers offense and Peyton Manning does win another Super Bowl, what will that do for his legacy?
If Peyton Manning wins this game, this is really one of the biggest games of his career, because it would prove a lot of people wrong who thought he was done, like me. And even though the defense is really the reason they're here, just him winning it and playing well will go a long way to sort of elevating him up that scale of the best ever. So, I mean, to me, it's Brady and guys like Montana. I think there's a little bit of a gap. Then guys like Peyton, if he wins, it closes that gap. So that's pretty good for him if he can do that. But I don't think he's going to do it.
Mike Freeman, thank you so much.
Thank you.